We'll call the meeting to order for the Oregon City Arts Commission on August 21st, 2025. Let's start off with roll call.
Good evening, Amanda Dexter, seeing Amanda, Joyce Lemaster.
Here.
Emma Lugo.
Here.
Josh Planton.
Here.
Choir.
Here.
Rebecca Sierra, sorry.
Sarah.
Rebecca Sierra. Hi, Rebecca. Amy Wilson.
Here.
And Daria Loy has an excused absence. We also want to recognize our liaison to the City Commission, Mayor Denise McGriff.
Present.
Next up is the adoption of the agenda. Has everyone had a chance to review it? Are there any other items that people would like to add?
I have an item I need to change.
Okay.
I'm trying to find where it is. Hold on. There is something attributed to me that I think the Zoom AI just is having a thing.
Oh, sorry, this is the agenda, not the minutes.
Oh, sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Do you know do you hear your crackling, Rebecca?
No.
Okay.
Okay. So with no other updates to the agenda, we'll consider it approved. Next is the approval of the minutes. So Rebecca, you said you had a edit that you want to make?
Yeah, I went back through the meeting, I watched it, and I also read the transcripts. There were several things attributed me that I don't even know where they came from. But there's one in particular that says that I'm going to reach out to the city. I don't want to click around on my laptop because it's making noise for you all. But if you look towards the end, Anne, do you see it? It says, Rebecca will contact somebody in the city.
About what? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's under communications.
Oh. Yep, you're not contacting Tony for a...
I was curious about that.
Okay, we'll correct that.
Okay.
Well, there's two corrections. Did you mention that you were going to out loud or not?
I think that was Josh who said he was gonna.
Not the acting city manager.
All right, we'll figure that out.
Did you contact yourself? I don't.
That's what he does, he contacts
Okay, so we just need to know how to correct this. Did you say this? And if you didn't,
you.
well,
Is she saying I said it or, sorry?
it says, the AI says she did. I know you had mentioned it, so I don't know if on the record we say you were going to schedule it or if it
The work
never.
session? Yes, I said that I would be the one to reach out to the city manager.
Perfect.
And make sure that we could get it on the schedule and discuss with him items that we wanted to talk about.
Perfect.
So if you want to correct that way, that's perfecto.
Thank you, Denise.
Obviously, Rebecca and I are like interchangeable, so that's how it was in the minute.
I confuse you all the time.
Anything else? Any other edits? Okay. Is there a motion to approve with that amendment to the minutes?
I make a motion to approve.
Thanks, Quinn.
Did I cut you off?
No, you and I do.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, consider those approved. Next up is public comment.
Yes, good evening. So Denise McGriff, City of Oregon City, and I am here with Ava Peterson. And basically, I was contacted through a letter from Ava regarding some items that have to do with the Arts Commission. And so I invited her to come to the meeting, the next regularly scheduled meeting, to sit and talk with you about her idea, and told her that the commission would be delighted, and I touched base with Anne to let her know that she was going to be coming to talk about an idea that she has regarding making some art space available. And I think that my recommendation would be is that you listen to what she has to say, And then we can schedule it for a future agenda item to discuss on how we might do it or not do it, or what we have available, and then we can get back to her on her comments. So Ava, would you like to just say a little bit about yourself? See, is this on? Yeah. So you're, and like where, yeah, you can, yeah, in a minute, but I want them to get to know you a little bit. So you're, they have your name, you can say your name, and you live in Oregon City, and tell them what school you go to. So speak into this mic.
Okay. Hi, my name is Ava Ingesser, and I go to Bolton Primary in West Lynn. I'm 9 years old, and I'm originally from Florida, but then we moved here.
And how long have you been here?
Well, first I lived in Beaverton, and then I moved here when I was 4, almost 5, so I've lived here for 5 years.
So she has a
Thank
little
you.
statement that she'd like to read.
Hi, my name is Ava and I'm 9 years old. I've lived in Oregon City for almost 5 years now. I once saw an idea of a mural on TV where people could add their art whenever they want, and I thought that Oregon City should have one too. I think we should have a mural because it brings together community and makes something beautiful. Thanks to Mayor McGriff and all of you, maybe we'll get to have a mural in Oregon City. Thank you.
So do you have any questions for her?
Can you tell us a little bit more about where you saw it and the idea for it? Like, is it a mural? So one of my questions is it a mural where you just keep on painting over it, like a graffiti mural? Or is it a mural where it's like really long and you just keep on adding to it? How do you keep on adding to it?
Well, like, I don't know, like, how big it would be, but the idea was, like, there could be, like, a little, like, wall or something where people could just go and add really, like, anything, but I don't know, like, how they would
Okay.
keep making stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe once it's done, like, you could, like, paint it the original color or something, and then everyone could start over or something.
Sure.
I did tell her about the proposed project, the paint by number.
Yeah.
That would, hopefully is gonna be coming up and the commission will approve it. I also told her a little bit about the community paints that, you weren't here living then, but in 2022, we had a big art project that was led by former art commissioner and the artist from West Lynn, artist from Oregon City, and an artist from the Grand Ronde, and it was on the bridge, and everybody got to paint a little piece of it, and then the artist came and fixed all the stuff and made it look really great. And it's sitting in our library right now. So there's 3 sections of it, and if you happen to go to the library, it's right where the book drop is on the inside. It's up on the ceiling, and right by the ceiling, and it's a beautiful art mural, and that was a community project that everybody could paint on that, and it was divided up, so you knew you put blue here or yellow there, and it looks really amazing.
Fun, yeah. I think I've seen that before, but I wasn't really sure, like,
How that came
how it,
about.
yeah.
And then they have a project that they're considering. Maybe you could tell a little bit about it so that she gets some clarity about that paint by number project that was proposed. There was one that was gonna be, was it Soul Flags that proposed
We
it?
don't know it, it hasn't been approved.
Well, no, I didn't say it was approved, I just said it was a concept that somebody had brought to the commission. And that's, I think that's something that she's kind of talking about.
I don't think it's been brought before us yet.
Well, I know I heard about it.
I have a question for
former
Ava.
You
vice
did
chair?
because you were part of the grant.
Who's our former vice chair?
Okay, she has one more question for you.
Okay.
I have a question. Do you live in,
Just move it over, so,
I know, it's
yeah, there you
kinda-
go.
you live in Oregon City, yes?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Whereabouts?
Huh?
What neighborhood?
Well,
Well,
I think
be
it
careful with
was,
Oh, sorry.
It was
We don't want
like-
to say that.
yeah.
Well, my question, okay, sorry, my question,
Well,
my
like-
question is,
hard to understand.
it's okay.
It's like, yeah.
My question is,
She's
do
an,
you
she's
have
an Ely.
ideas?
She's an
yeah.
Ely.
Do you have ideas of like the types of places, like a side of a building or inside a school? Or do you have ideas about anything like that where you'd like to see a mural like this?
Well, I was thinking like maybe we can try and put up like a little wall, like maybe in a park or something that was like,
Oh, yeah.
like made of like
Something
cement
that's just
or
for
something.
you.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
That's a great
Cool.
idea.
thanks.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Does she need to leave what she wrote?
No, I think we're
Okay.
fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good job, Ava.
I really appreciate it.
Next up is the budget discussion. So I'll pass it over then to Matt Zook, who will give an update from the financial team on the rollover of funds from the 2023-2025 biennium.
Good evening. Hopefully this is on. My name is Matt Zook. I'm the finance director for the city of Oregon City. And I appreciate the work that Josh did reviewing the financials, and I reviewed his work, and we comply within, or we agree on the numbers within a couple $100. And so the carryover from 2023-25 budget that the Arts Commission will have in addition to the newly budgeted $25,000 per year is $20,500 plus or minus. So we did get confirmation from the city manager, Tony Conkle, that yes, that money will roll over. And so consider that good news, I guess.
That's great.
Were there any questions for Matt? If
Mr.
not-
Chair, was there a concern of the money being spent? I know I was here last time in the, so we had the previous biennium, and so is it rolling over from the previous biennium, or is it now rolling over into this one? Because we've got a 25-27 budget, and that was the 23-26 budget.
The 23-25 budget just closed about 2 months ago. And that's where the 20,500 is going to be rolled over into the 25-27 budget. So essentially, if you add the 25,000 per year that you received from the budget process for the 25-27 budget, you've got 50,000 plus 20,500.
70,500 is
Right,
what?
exactly.
Okay. Okay, yeah, so, and I did a little rundown just to make sure everyone can see it, I can share it, but essentially, 50,000 for this biennium, we're rolling over 20,500 from last biennium, which is the difference in what we had left to spend at the end of the year. So that gives us a total of 70,500 to spend in 2025, 2027. We just have to make sure we don't do it in the last 3 months of the year, of the biennium.
Well, what fun would that be?
Be stressful.
Any other questions for Matt? Okay.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you very much. Very good news. And for James and Ann, I know they both helped out a lot on that project as well, so thank you, everyone. Next up is an approval of photographer RFP proposal. So I'll bring up some slides I put just to give everyone a visual cue, especially those online.
I'm not seeing anything online.
How about now?
It says you're sharing, but it's not showing up yet.
Flickering on me a little bit.
There we go.
There it goes.
There, thank
Okay.
you.
So just as a reminder, we signed an MOU with the city last year that gave us the right to manage our own website. Rebecca has been leading on that project over the last several months, getting everything put together. Right now, in terms of content, we're kind of on hold. We're waiting till we have more information on municipal codes and our strategy documents and all those things we're working on now before we finish up a lot of the content, because that'll be changing as when we get into it. We also gained access to several of the city's photo archives. After reviewing those, however, we found that a lot of them were, more general photos of the city itself versus photos of public art, which is what we want to try and preface on or promote on the website. So we're thinking that it would be worth looking at hiring a photographer to go out and take photos of public art, spending no more than about $2,500. So we have pictures for our website and for future use. And I'll give you kind of project overview. So this will be put into a formal RFP process. However, the goals of this would be get some high quality, high resolution digital photos for our marketing purposes, 3 to 5 photos of different angles, lighting of different pieces, about 20 pieces total. The reason I say 20 pieces is we're probably not going to get photos of every single piece of public art. I think in our art assessment, we had, listed the feathers on the light posts as public art. And while they are, it's not something we want to spend the money and the time in getting photos of those versus other pieces of public art. So I was limiting it to just about 20. So if you figure that's 60 to 100 photos approximately, including photo editing as necessary. And then also make sure that that is tied into the theme and kind of the appeal or look and feel of the website, especially. In terms of photographer criteria, looking for someone with 2 to 3 years of commercial photography experience, bonus that they have taken photos of public art in the past, ability to take photos by our due date, which would be fairly soon. We would like them done by mid-October to be able to put them on the website in time, and then also provide us with lists of references. There's a link down here at the bottom, which I can pull up, but I don't know if it's supposed to say, just showing kind of what kind of photos we're looking at getting. We'll include those links in the project overview. I think this last one is timeline. So yeah, plan would be to try and get this out, RFP out no later than September 3rd, submissions close September 15th. That's a very tight turnaround, but we're hoping we could get quite a few submissions by then. We would then try and approve select the photographer at the September 17th meeting, and then try and have photos taken by October 17th. So I'll stop there.
I have a question.
Yep.
Okay, I have a couple of questions. My first question is, you keep on saying "we," and I'm just wondering, did I miss a meeting where this was brought up previously, that we decided we were gonna do this RFP? Did I miss that?
No, this is approving the RFP and approving the budget for that RFP.
Okay.
This is just, when I say we, discussions that Rebecca and I have had about the website.
Great, thank you so much. So my only question is just, I mean, since we only have a budget of $70,000 for 2 years, is this something that's worth spending $2,500 on? I know it's a small amount of that $70,000, but I just wonder, I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, because it seems like we could take photographs of the murals without paying somebody to do it. That's just
Could I take photos as, I guess, to respond to that, I
know
would
what you're saying,
say,
but this is just for a website. I don't know.
we want the website to look as high quality as possible, and maybe if Rebecca has additional comments on that, but the fact is that we'd also have these to be used for other marketing materials. We would share them with the city, of course, so the city, if they wanted to advertise, public art in Oregon City themselves directly, they could do that. I think it's worth having these assets long-term, because it does give us the ability to, market them, to promote them.
Yeah.
So I think it's worth the money.
Okay.
I'm happy to hear what other people
I
think.
appreciate that.
And
I do want to let folks know, Rebecca and I had a conversation with our GIS staff, and they're the folks who maintain the online tour of public art in the city, and all of those photographs are available to us. So every single piece of public art in the city has a picture someplace. So some of that stuff, so we can cross-reference and see
We
which
do have,
ones.
yeah, I think when Rebecca and I were talking about it, and Rebecca, I do not mean to put words in your mouth, but I think we felt that the artistic value of those was not as high quality as what we were looking for. But I'm happy to hear what other people think, if people think we should just go with those, or yeah, go ahead.
Have you talked to our communications manager about this? He is on the side as a professional photographer, and if you've looked at any of the photographs in this hallway here, sorry, I keep wanting, in the building, he took those. He does exhibit professionally. I would say, I know you probably didn't think of asking him, but I would like to suggest that you do ask him.
Sorry, who's the?
Jared. We're talking about Jared
Jared?
Lehman.
Okay.
Is
I'm
that a
thinking,
conflict of interest?
Yeah.
well, if he's doing it for free,
Really,
Yeah,
but
if it's okay, if it's
if he's
employee-
doing it volunteering to do it.
Well, I don't know if he'd volunteer.
No, I don't think
but
he would.
it might be considered to be part of his job, because he takes all of our pictures and things that, you know, if we have an event or we're doing this,
Yeah.
he's usually there, or one of the other staff, they're there taking photographs and.
Yeah.
Josh, Jared, takes excellent professional photographs.
so what you're saying is this would be just part of what he does for the city.
Right,
and
but
what he's-
I suggest that you
to
ask
do.
him if he.
Ask him
he
if he has
could
time to
it,
do that, yeah.
And see about saving that money. I mean,
I agree with
You know,
that.
maybe
That's
there's
cool.
some budgeted time that he would require, and that money could go back into that department's budget, but, you know, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Rebecca?
I just wanted to second that. He does take really great photographs. And Jared gave us, Josh and I, access to the OneDrive where all of the images are, and they're great. There's just not any in there of public art. And so that's why we went down this route of, well, do we need to hire a photographer then so that we can get more than just, I can't even remember how many lamp posts are on the Art Walk site, but it must be 12 maybe. And that seems to be the most that's on that Art Walk site. And then there's a few other little pieces. And so there's not a single repository of public art images for Oregon City. So that's a whole other topic. But it would be nice to have a collection. So yes, we can pull what might work from there. If Jared can step forward and help us, that would be awesome to save that money. But that's how we ended up going in this inquiry.
And I'll send the link so that everybody has it, because it's more than, it's quite robust. So if you guys haven't seen it, I'll make sure everybody gets the link.
Okay. Amy?
I just wanted to support the fact that we are the Arts Commission. And people are going to look to us for high quality art because photography is an art. So I kind of think this is a really good way to go.
Okay. I guess my only concern going with Jared is allocation of time. So if he has the ability to do it in this time frame, that we would have him in time to get the website done, and it doesn't deter from that, I think I'm happy to go with that. If there's concerns that he might not be able to do it in that time frame, and going out to a third party would be faster, more efficient, I'm also happy to move forward that route. So I'll throw that out there, see if there's any other thoughts on that.
I would suggest you give him a little bit longer than September 15th.
For,
I mean, I would just suggest maybe just having a conversation with him first.
He wanders around on the weekends when he's not working, taking pictures of
Yeah.
things.
okay,
And just ask him what his availability is and see
okay.
what he says.
So we'll
And-
postpone approval of
and
the,
too, yeah.
what I'm hearing is we'll postpone approval of the RFP and budget for an RFP to take the photos until we talk to Jared about his availability.
I just think that, you know, if we have staff resources that are available, I know you probably didn't think of that, because you might not know what he does, but he does. But, you know, always think about that too, that, you know, we may have some resources here at the city that we can utilize, because we have people with many talents. You know, Jared just happens to be, have that as one of his little things that he does here. But like I said, we've got his photographs all over City Hall that he's made available to us for viewing.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Any other comments on the RFP before we move on to the next item?
So we know who is reaching out to Jared, is that?
I can do
you
that.
could
I
do that?
can work with Ann to reach
Okay.
out to him, yeah.
My office is literally next to
They're next door to each other. They can talk through the wall of cans.
Yes, we can.
Tech ordinance.
So the next item on the list then is file sharing budget requests. So we've had several people reach out over last, year or so that I've talked to, looking for resources that we've looked at in the past, but haven't been able to locate, or as new, especially when new art commissioners come on board, there's things that we reference from time to time that they have not seen before because the files are not readily available. You have to go digging either on the public website through meetings, notices, or meeting minutes and things like that to find them. So there's been kind of a request looming out there that I want to propose that we acquire a Dropbox account. It's $11.99 a month, so for a year it's roughly $144. But we store all of our public documents, so documents that have gone through and been publicly visible, so shouldn't be an issue with firewalls at that point, since you can find them on the public website, but are available for us to utilize for telling people, like, if you're looking for such and such document, you can go on the Dropbox and find it there. I'll stop there and see if there's any questions on that proposal. Yeah. Go ahead.
I would like to share some additional information with everybody. So I spoke with Mike Dubai. Mike is the manager of IT for the city. And I know Rebecca knows Mike pretty well because he's been good support for us as we've gone out with the website. He is hesitant to the idea of having a city-managed or Dropbox. But I said to Mike, I said, well, and explained that the difficulties that you just mentioned, Josh, that people have been having a hard time, or I'll share a link with someone and people won't be able to open it. What he suggested was that we have a little training and just walk people through the process. What we need to do is you create your own account. And I think I may have been you, Emma, or somebody had to create an account. And then once you create that account and you have your own password, then next time you go to log in, you can just log in every time. So I think that there is a way that we can use city facilities, use it in a different way than we're currently using it. Right now, I create a shared folder and then I invite you to a shared folder. Mike is saying there's a more efficient way to use the shared resources, and he's offered to come to a future Arts Commission meeting and just walk people through that process.
So you're talking like a SharePoint or a Google Drive?
Well, it will still be on OneDrive, basically.
Okay, so it'll be a
still-
Microsoft product. So that doesn't help really with the Apple people. That's the problem that we run into.
I said the exact same thing to him, and I know at least two of you are Apple users. And he did say that there is a way that they are now speaking with each other. So I'd like to give him the opportunity to provide that training to us, and written instructions.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm going to rain on your parade. I apologize. You need to remember that you are a city commission that advises the city commission. You are not a separate entity apart from the city, and you cannot be creating separate documents out there in the ether somewhere, because we have ethics rules that we have to follow, even though don't get me started about the ethics commission, but there are things that we have to do as a city that you are also obligated to do. And so you cannot be going out there creating separate things. I mean, my risk management part of me just went berserk. Not in a bad way, but you cannot do that. I have real concerns, the same as the IT guy, that you somehow think that you are separate, but you are not. Again, you guys are doing great work. You're doing more than any other arts commission has ever done in the time that I've been with the city, including when I was staff. But please consult with staff before you bring these things to the commission to make sure that we are legal and that we can do that. I would not be supportive of us doing that, because I have concerns about access. We have concerns about city documents out there floating on some other document that isn't the city stuff. So again, we need to check in with, as she did, with our IT supervisor or manager and make sure that he is okay. And so I think you need to give him the opportunity to come in here and do what you need to do. And if that's something that you wanted to do, communicate with her and say, ask Mike, what can we do? That would be the first question.
I appreciate that. It has been brought up to Ann in the past. This isn't the first time you've heard of it, right, Ann? Mm-hmm. So we've talked about it for quite a long time, and we're trying to figure out a way around it.
So We don't want to get around it, we want to get through it.
Well, okay, so
Yeah.
through it. What this proposal would be not to have a space where we would create new documents, but just put them so that everyone can get access to them.
Sharing.
If someone wants to view, so let me throw an example out there. There was a survey we did towards the very beginning of coming back. How many of you have access to that survey questionnaire right now? I think I might be the only one that saved it and kept a copy for myself. Having that ability to go back and look at that and reference that if we wanted to do another survey, or if we wanted to look at the results of that survey when we're
We
looking at.
talked to our IT department head, and he makes it work.
Okay,
He's, we need to go through that process. You need to talk to him. Like I said, it's not that I don't want you to have access to the things you want to do, but these are city documents that you're creating out there on some separate area. And I have been through our problem that we had when our system was breached, and I can't really get into all the details of how it was done because we don't want to get that out either. We need to talk to staff first. So in future, if you have an idea like this and you're not getting, ask me to go through and talk to staff. I'm happy to do that. I'm your liaison. I can say, hey, Mike, Ann and I were sitting in a meeting and they had this great idea. How do we make this work for them? How do we provide people with access?
okay. That sounds good. So we'll leave that off.
So what you want to say on the items that we're going to refer this to Michael Devine, and he's going to figure it out. He's smart.
Correct.
And
So,
he's also better at explaining how to access and use OneDrive than I am.
Yeah.
I have problems accessing some of the city stuff because personally, I hate Google and it hates me. And when we have a Google thing, I'm not always able to get into it, but they helped me. And now I have a way to get into it. So I'm not frustrated.
Yeah, and I do like Ann's idea about having him come and do a brief training
Yeah.
during I think that would be helpful, honestly, for me, because,
You don't use it all the time, you sort of lose it. That's my problem. I don't, I might do it one time and then 3 months later they say, oh, you go here, and I think, I don't have to do that.
okay. Next up is budget for Salmon bench plaque installation.
Well, as folks will remember, now that we have the Salmon bench restoration, we do want to order a new plaque. We looked at the proposed writing and design for the plaque. BBC Steel, which is in Canby, will manufacture the plaque. And I've spoken to Public Works and they will install it. It's going to be adhered with an adhesive where the present plaque is. So the idea is that they'll remove the existing plaque and put a new plaque on it. The only cost to us is just the cost of power coating it. BBC Steel has offered to donate the plaque to us, so it's about $300, $350 to make it, but they're willing to make a donation, and we just have to power coat it, so.
what does that cost?
So I'm thinking the budget for this, the complete budget will be less than $200.
Okay.
I did not see that information in the packet.
There wasn't a dollar amount in the packet.
No, I meant what the new plaque would say versus what the old
Oh,
plaque.
that was in a previous packet,
Okay,
not tonight's
because
packet.
because I was part of the neighborhood association. Now, we didn't select the art, and I don't remember exactly how the art came to be on the street. I know that we had a 7th Street corridor plan, and art was in there. So I'm assuming that the plaque will acknowledge the previous artist and then add on to the current artist, so it'll obviously be bigger. I mean, it's kind of small. And it would be nice if it was bigger because you kind of really have to hunt for it to
I
see
didn't
it.
even know there was a plaque on
Yeah,
there.
it's there. It's at the
Is it down on
uphill end on the edge of it.
Yeah.
Because I
Well,
was taking pictures
this
of it.
was a restoration,
Yeah,
as
but I mean,
well.
it
It
still
wasn't
should
like-
acknowledge,
Yeah.
that it's been restored.
correct, yeah, by who, yeah.
Yeah, because the neighborhood association was totally into, that 7th Street corridor plan was like a 2.5-year process to convince certain business owners that we needed to have pullouts for parking instead of keeping it was two-way. You were here then, it was two-way each direction, and it was like,
two-way each direction.
yes, it was
Oh my
4
God.
lanes, and yeah,
How far, all the way?
well, all the way up to Eastham. But there was no parking on the street, and it's still kind of a little bit of a freeway sometimes, but it's less of a freeway than it was back then.
So I'm curious about this. Then-
7th Street corridor plan?
So I had heard about that and I heard how it got changed. Is this art that was placed along 7th an integral part of that?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's why. I've always wondered, why do we just have art on 7th and why not anywhere else?
Because it was part of a larger plan.
I get it now.
And it was a community process where, the city came in, talked about how, we needed to do something to sort of improve. That's when we got the new lighting. We got the pullouts. We got the curb extensions. We got the pedestrian activated signal there by the library. All of those things, more, it was not great. And again, I don't know who on the commission was here when it was the other way, but it was pretty but ugly.
Sorry, Ann, did you want to say something, and then we'll go to the audience?
Yeah, and we also do have 2 guests waiting on Zoom to be mindful of. This was what was shared in an earlier packet this year, so this is what is proposed, what the new plaque will look like. It has our logo, it has our Art for Every Heart tagline, does reference the original artist. This is what we, so.
Okay.
Looks good. Is that going to be the actual?
Oh, in that thing?
Yeah.
Did you,
Oh, wait, don't speak from the audience, so do you want her to say something? She's gotta come up so it's on record.
It's, okay, I'm not gonna speak on.
We can, if you want to speak on
It's
record,
just a
sure.
typo note.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's one lane, not one
Yeah,
lane.
exactly. It's one lane road, not one land road, and I don't want that to show up in the plaque. Ariella Sophie Clackman, sorry.
thank you, Arias.
Thank you.
Good catch.
Yeah.
5 points for the
I
audience
want
member.
that to go on
Approve
permanent.
this budget item?
I'm glad I.
Well, so I wanna wait on this one due to, there's some updates on the Salmon bench that we were gonna cover later in the call that I think might be worth talking about before we get to approving this one.
Okay.
So postpone it to that discussion if there's no objections.
Postpone the discussion of the salmon bench?
Postpone the discussion on, or approval on the plaque until we get through the discussion on the Salmon bench later in the call.
Got it.
Okay. Then we are moving on to the municipal code. So,
And Josh, I do want to recognize that Carrie Richter, our city attorney, is joining us this evening to be a resource as part of this conversation. Thank you for, Carrie, for making the time to join us.
yep. Thank you very much.
And can we get our screen back? There.
Is she there? There she is.
And I did extract some of the stuff from the Word document to review. So just a quick background again on the municipal code. So this portion of the municipal code is where we as an art commission get our quasi-judicial responsibilities. It's written into the code that we'll be the reviewing body for murals in Oregon City. Due to how the code is written and how Oregon law works, or is being applied in some situations here, we are limited in our capacity to fund murals in Oregon City based on how the current law is written. So to try and help maybe resolve some of those in very limited circumstances, I made some proposed changes to it as a way to get some thinking around it. We'll review those in a moment. But basically, I also want to add some clarification to some definitions or some undefined terminology in the code and some additional opportunities for us in terms of mural location. So we'll jump into it. The first one is city-owned property exemption. So right now, if you were to read through the code, it applies to every mural within Oregon City, or any basically outdoor public space mural that is trying to be recognized as a public mural. Which means that if, say, we had a building, a city building in which there was a blank wall and we got permission to put a mural on it, but we had to find the funding for it, we couldn't actually move forward because we can't both fund a mural and be the approving body of that mural, as the code is currently written. So the proposed text here, which is in the white, is basically,
Sorry, you say it's in the
That's
white.
the wrong.
oh, I'm not sure.
Sorry.
Is the proposed text also included in the draft, or is that not included?
It was in the draft Word document that I think
Right.
Ann sent out, yes. So I just extracted it to try and highlight it,
Thank you.
yeah.
In the future, don't use yellow. It's really hard to see.
It looks better on here. I wish
I know,
I
it looks
shared
terrible on
different.
there.
So in terms of, so what the text says is any public art mural that is funded by the city, by any city budget, funds, or through a grant obtained by the city and or Arts Commission and is located on public property, hold on, this thing's blocking part of my, I want to make sure I read it all. Including city buildings or infrastructure, walls, roads, will not be required to be approved by the Arts Commission, but the Arts Commission should be notified of any murals which may be recorded within the Arts Commission inventory of public art. So what this is, break this down real quick. If we get funding, or say another city department gets funding for a mural, city parks, and they want to do their own mural, well, I would hope that they would come to us and talk to us about designs. They don't necessarily need to, how this is written. They could still go out and do their own mural with their own money, and it wouldn't require us to have to review it.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah,
I have an update,
okay,
and this might be much easier. That's why I asked Carrie to join us, because she and I had a very good conversation, as all my conversations are with Carrie. And so, Carrie, I think I'll let you talk about this one, because you and I had an agreement that and a synergy on this funding the mural, public versus private murals.
Sure. Chair and Commissioners, I'm Carrie Richter. I'm the City Attorney for Oregon City. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Very good.
Great. What we talked about today was the notion of the City Arts Commission effectively wearing two hats when it comes to the question of spending money on city-owned property for a mural. The City Arts Commission is acting in a proprietary manner. So, for example, the Oregon City Commission decides that we're going to widen a street, and the City Commission is acting as a private actor in those cases. And the City Commission can decide that we're going to widen the street, and then that requires code review, has to be evaluated by our Public Works Department. Sometimes it requires a land use permission. All of those things, then that land use review that has to happen sometimes can come to the City Commission, and the City Commission can essentially review the land use approval in a regulatory way. So the City Commission is both acting as a proprietary private actor in deciding what to do, and then they switch hats and they become a judge in deciding whether the proposal complies with the code. The city can do this because it is both a proprietary actor and a quasi-judicial reviewer. So my preference with respect to this proposal is not to exempt the city as a proprietor from complying with the Arts Commission review for a mural, because the city ought to be treated just like a private party. My preference would be that the City Arts Commission makes decisions about whether to fund murals on public property, and then an application is filed, it's prepared by staff, it is put forward by staff, and the Arts Commission says, I know we have agreed to fund this, but we're going to take off that hat and we're going to put on our quasi-judicial hat. We're going to review it for consistency with the code, section 1528. Does that make sense?
So just to be clear, so you're saying your recommendation is not to try and exempt the city from following the same exact process as everyone else, but we would still, under how you're interpreting the law and the municipal code now, have the right to receive funding, say from a third-party grantor, and turn around and fund then a mural in Oregon City on a public building without running into any legal matters of our quasi-judicial responsibility under this code.
The distinction is that this is on public property. This is a public effort,
Okay.
not a private effort. It's not the city giving grant funds to a private property owner. This is a public, you're gonna put a mural on the library,
Yep.
right? This is a public property. That is a different type of inquiry.
Okay.
This is the same thing whereby you are the government, and one of the departments in the government wants a mural, and they have to come before you in your, I guess, regulatory function to get approval of what they intend to do in terms of material. Then after you approve that, then they go away and then may come back, or may come back at another time, but then submit an application for funding. You can make that decision, but you have a different hat at that time.
Okay.
So I have a question. Is there any mention about discussion of content ever?
Yes, that's in terms of
I don't
content.
mean materials.
Oh, in terms of content.
On a public building would,
On a public building, does the city have any vested interest in content?
Carrie, I'll let you take care of that, but I think I know the answer, but I'll let our attorney answer that question.
So again, in a proprietary capacity, when you're deciding whether you want to spend your $70,000 on putting a mural on the library, you have control over the content because you are the person spending the money. When you are reviewing a proposal for a mural on the library under OCMC 1528, which is the sign code mural evaluation, there is no review of content.
And
The review is materials, high quality, longevity of materials, those sorts of things.
Got it.
Did I answer the question consistent with
Kinda,
what you?
I'm a little confused. I'm just gonna ask a follow-up question, which it may have already been asked, however. So say the Parks Department wants to put a mural somewhere. We're only there to advise them on material. We're not allowed to advise them on content. Is that what you're saying?
That is correct.
but we can choose, if they're asking us for money to fund it, we can say no based on the content of the mural, correct?
That is correct. If you are giving them money, if it is going to be an Arts Commission sponsored mural, then you have say, just like if I'm gonna fund a mural, I have say over what gets painted.
Yeah, I have a quick question. So we are an arts commission, here to advise the city on art. So, and I understand this is what the legal code says, and this is what we're going over. I would think ideally, for the good of the city, that even if a different city entity wanted to do a mural or any other art, that the art commission would have some type of input of both the content and the aesthetic value of that mural for consistency and benefit of our whole community.
I mean, I sort of agree with you, but I also kind of feel like each department knows its own function and its own, they know their audience in a way that we don't. And also, we don't work for the city. So, I would just assume that people who work for the city, I think it very much depends on what they're doing.
Yeah.
it would be a courtesy for them to come and review it. I mean, that's, if I was in a department, that's what I would do.
Yeah, I think it's a relationship thing we have to build up with the other departments.
makes sense.
I mean, that's what
Versus,
they did with
it's
the
not a
bathroom.
legal matter.
The only
They did
other
the
department that
bathroom.
has any
Yeah.
murals is,
They came
there's
to
the one
us.
at Latterette Park, and I think there's one at the pool.
Well, technically, the
There's the
bathroom is a mural.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
For
that
the
was,
code.
that was a really
The
nice
loo.
collaboration.
yeah,
Yeah.
at the elevator.
And we did the art on the banner on Malala.
Yeah.
We helped select that, so.
Kind of along the same lines, I would think it would be in the city's interest that if there is any public place that could contain a mural, that the city would then put out an RFP and collect many bids, I don't know, several bids to choose from, instead of having somebody approach them and just go, I want that wall.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That probably would never happen.
We can make that happen.
No, I
Oh,
mean,
that's-
somebody coming up and saying, I want that wall, that probably would never happen.
It just did.
I mean, you never
No.
know.
It kind of did, yeah.
Just did.
At the city?
We're gonna talk about it in a second.
So in terms of this section, so what I'm understanding from you, Carrie, is that this would not be required under the current mural code. So we could strike this from the proposal.
Yes, but I think it would be good when you're preparing for a work session with the city commission, and I think it would be good to sort of talk about this a little bit in visioning for how the Arts Commission is going to work within the organization of the city, and your example of, the Public Works Department deciding to do a mural, and the sort of courtesy and openness, transparency of asking you, that I think it would be good to sort of have an open discussion about that at your work
Yeah.
session when you have that.
Great.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
I wrote it down.
Next section that I wanted to review was some text under subsection B1A, trying to put some definition around two terms, alteration and restoration. So, alteration, will be defined as a substantial change or modification made to a mural, including but not limited to its materials, surface covering, or UV protection or anti-graffiti coating. These are all the things that we, as a commission, review when we approve the mural application. So anything that they would be changing per what they had submitted to us would require some form of renewal of that agreement with us. They wouldn't be able to just go and do it. However,
Excuse me,
Josh,
Josh.
could you get rid of the, two side things and make the thing bigger?
What?
I know this.
Rid of the
somebody's in the
slideshow?
chat, but.
Oh, make it full screen.
Screen, yeah.
There we go.
So X that part out
Thank
over
you.
there and then get rid of your.
that's not my screen, that's
Okay.
That
Ann's.
one I can get
Yeah,
rid of.
okay. You can minimize that.
There we
There you
go.
go.
Yeah.
That is much better.
And then in terms of restorations, this would include if there was some minor repair to a mural due to exposure to the elements over time, minor changes resulting from routine maintenance or repair to the wall or mural itself over time, slight and unintended deviations from the original when repairing the mural due to time and vandalism, and then replication of the exact mural after replacement, repair, or renovation of exterior wall on which the mural is displayed on due to damage, code enforcement, or safety concerns. These cases will be defined as a restoration of an existing mural as long as the mural undergoes only minor modifications when it is placed back on the wall. Anything that would be placed back on the wall after 3 years would be considered a restoration. So say a car ran into a business, hit the wall that the mural was on, they have to go back, fight through insurance, get the money, repair the wall. If they want to put that mural back up exactly how it was before, it wouldn't require them going through another review process by the Arts Commission.
Josh, is there a reason for needing to define these more clearly? Like, is it related to an approval process or funding?
Yeah, so it could go somewhat towards the funding of these projects. So if the Arts Commission was given a grant to help restore public art in Oregon City. If a mural that had been, just worn down over time due to sun and weather exposure needed to be a refresh, we would be able to fund them because the restoration itself would not require us to approve it. That was kind of the goal or attempt here. Now, I know that the language is not probably perfect. Again, something I was thinking we would review at the working session with the city commission, but I don't know, Carrie, if you had any other comments on this portion.
The reason why this is a good idea is because the mural code does not define alterations or maintenance. And so we've kind of struggled with how to classify certain situations, and I haven't reviewed this language, so I would have some suggestions about the language if I had a chance to think about it probably, but generally I'm in favor of this concept.
How would you feel about sending it to her for you to review and then send it back to us at the next meeting?
Yeah, I have no problem with that. So Kara, I'll make sure that Ann and James have a copy of the latest version, and we'll share it with you just so you have a chance to get some eyes on it before we meet with the city. And if you have suggestions before that time, then that would be okay as well.
Fabulous.
Are there any other questions on this portion of the proposed text change? Again, there's some other changes in there that we'll send around again, have some time to review. I know Amy sent in some feedback on it, asked some questions, so I will include those responses as well. Cool.
Thank you for your efforts on this, Josh. I know that you've been putting a lot of time into this, and I really do appreciate it. I do know that Tima would like to get going if she's able to do that, and I know we've got some other time constraints, so.
Sure. So we'll hand it over to Tima to talk about proposed mural
Carrie.
on Railroad Avenue, Salmon Life Cycle.
Hi
Thank you,
there.
Carrie,
Thank
very
you
much.
Thank you. I'll be signing off.
Okay, have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. This is Tima. I am a resident of Oregon City, former vice chair and chair of the Oregon City Arts Commission. I apologize for not being there. I've had some medical issues the last 3 weeks and had surgery on Friday. So again, I apologize for not being here, so thank you for having a Zoom option.
Do you have a camera available?
If you would like to see me not feeling well, sure.
Oh, sorry, it helps me to see somebody talk.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, they don't care, they. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll have that on for a moment and then I'm going to turn that off. It's kind of a strange request, but anyways. So we were recently approved by the Oregon City Enhancement Grant for a public mural along Railroad Avenue. And we submitted a draft mural application to Ann last week. Whether or not you have reviewed that, I do not know. But it has information about the proposed mural location, supplies, materials, et cetera, that would be used. It is, again, along Railroad Avenue between the 99E tunnel, pedestrian tunnel, and the elevator, Oregon City elevator. I'm going to turn this video off. It is 150 feet in length, triangular, approximate in shape, and is called the Circle of Life, Salmon Life Cycle, the Beauty of Salmon. There are renderings that were included in the draft application that we were requested by the city to include a camp scene from the indigenous tribes. So a second submittal was included in that draft application. And it's beautiful. The colors are going to be a wonderful addition to that portion of Railroad Avenue. And we were hoping to do it this summer, 2025. However, It looks like next summer, 2026, is when it'll actually happen. So we are looking forward to moving this along. It's our third attempt and final approval for this mural to happen. Our Art Center Soul Flags is across the way, and it would be a wonderful addition to our community.
In a moment, I'll share, the arts commissioners do have them here at the dais, and I'll demonstrate so that everyone can see it. I do want to let folks know that that Soul Flags will be coming back to the Arts Commission when we put on our judicial hat. And in that case, we'll review the easement and we'll review the application that you did get in tonight's packet. Tonight is really information purposes, sharing the design.
And also, as was commented.
She's not on the commission now. No, I mean,
I am
Tima's not on the commission.
Correct, I am not, no. The comments during public comment section from the young speaker from Westland regarding the paint by number activity. This would entail in the lower elevation, lower heights, a paint by number activity for the community to be involved in as well.
Okay. Tima? Sorry, Mama.
Tima, it's very nice to see you. And thank you so much for talking to us. I did have a question. It's just my own personal curiosity, but was there any consideration given to also including the lamprey, which are very important to?
There was discussion, and the mural artist is aware of it, so in this was just a quick rendering for this application. I'm sure we'll be able to include lamprey within the design, final design.
And then, Anne, you said there was an easement included in our packet. Am I missing that?
No, I said that would be coming. So
That would be
tonight's,
coming, okay.
Tonight's,
Correct.
right, that'll be
Yeah.
when we do the full quasi judicial review, that'll be at a future meeting.
There are parking spaces in front of the proposed mural location, so we would have right-of-way permits requested for those locations intermittently throughout the process.
To remove
and
the
then
parking?
Well, not
So
to
they can
remove
just
the
paint.
parking, just
got it.
temporarily
I see.
block with cones or whatnot.
I got it.
Because we'll be using the scissor lifts and that whatnot for conducting the painting. And also a safety plan will be submitted at a later date as well.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
What's the
Judicial
Sorry, I have a quick question, just a clarification question, Tima. Hi,
Yes.
how are you? I'm glad you're on the mend. So I'm just looking at the dimensions. So I was confused when I first saw the sketch. I thought maybe the smaller end was because of perspective, but is that indeed like lower in height?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a 3-foot tall section on that
Okay.
segment of the retaining wall.
Yeah.
And then it goes up to 20 feet adjacent to the pedestrian tunnel.
Okay, got it. And then this is just personal opinion, but I think it could be cool, like how Emma was talking about lamprey. I melted Emma with lamprey and called her Emma. Anyways, sorry, Emma. But like to have the aquatic animals fill in the 3-foot section and move in to and like a river in front of the longhouse on the land and the longhouse beyond
reduce the-
higher, so it's a little
yeah.
more prominent. But I don't know. That's just a thought. Take it or leave it. That's it.
Well, I think close to that length is probably around 8 feet maybe in height, so we probably would have plenty of space to do something like that, yeah.
I really love the longhouse in there. It's beautifully depicted, and the art on the front is really meaningful, and I think it's really cool. So it'd be cool. In my opinion, it'd be cooler if it was a little more prominent. That's all. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, so Tima, I don't know if you remember, I asked a question at the enhancement committee, how far does this go down? I mean, I drive Railroad Avenue probably 4 or 5 times a day. So I'm looking at, and my question
Yeah.
from back then had to do with the fact that we've got the Lee Kelly sculpture there on the wall, right by the Singer Creek Falls. So I couldn't remember how far the mural was going down to.
Yeah, not that far. So, where the Highway 99E tunnel and the pedestrian tunnel
Right,
are located at 99E.
right, I'm talking
and
about the
Railroad
other
Avenue
side.
intersection. It will extend 150 feet along the railroad line prior to the restroom, the new public restroom. It's going to terminate prior to that,
The loop.
where it kind of, the retaining wall juts in maybe 4 feet and then continues to the actual elevator.
Yeah, the elevator plaza.
So at the point where it juts in is the termination, is where that 3-foot mark is.
Thank you, I just couldn't remember, I know you mentioned it, but I said, okay, well, the loo is there now, and so it's gonna be just on the other side of where the loo is sitting.
Correct.
Okay,
And I'm not able to display the image, sorry about that.
Any other questions for Tima?
Also, Mr. Chair, I think you'd mentioned the word easement. Was that in reference to this mural?
Yeah, have Ann mentioned getting the easement for the packet of materials to review.
Well,
When it's time for the judicial process.
right, but
Not this evening.
But as I told you, the city owns the wall, so there's no easement to obtain.
Well, but as I just heard legal said before that the city should follow the same process as everyone else,
But this
which would include the easement form.
Yeah, we talked about that too. That's the exception. I stepped out, but that's the exception. Because we own the wall, and there was a reason for an easement in the first place, particularly on private buildings. But legally, it's because it's a public wall, the city's a public entity, and so we don't really have to provide an easement. The easement belongs to the city.
I guess, I don't know, that's what legal, both Bill and Carrie have told to me in private conversations in the past, was that the city should follow the same thing. If you're saying now that they're saying, no, the city doesn't need to sign off on that, then I don't know if we want to just get something in writing from them to say, yeah, that's fine.
he's talking about the easement, you guys don't need to review the easement, that is.
That's part of the packet that we get to review.
Well,
To
but
make
the
sure they have
easement
it.
is a legal document, our attorneys will be dealing with that part of it, you're gonna approve the mural.
I'm just trying to follow the same process that everyone else follows, which is they turn in the easement to us, they turn in the paperwork
He's
to
trying to
us.
explain to you that that's private property that you're reviewing, and I understand but the city owns the wall, so they're giving themselves an easement for the mural. So you'd understand, it's a little bit different because the city owns the wall, and they will be giving an easement to allow for the mural to occur.
I understand, and I've pointed that out to legal before, and they've said legal said that city should still follow the same process as everyone else. I'm going off of what I've heard from legal
I
counsel.
understand.
I'm not trying to be difficult.
No, you're not.
It's just, I want to make sure that everyone's doing the same thing based on what I've heard.
Yeah, I understand, but see, as of yesterday,
Okay.
I talked with legal counsel.
Didn't she just say that?
Yeah.
I think she just said it in the meeting
She
tonight,
did
that
just
everyone should do
say
the
it.
same thing,
No,
but.
Oh,
Get her
no.
to put it in writing, James.
We'll get it in writing, but what she says and what it is that when it's on public property, you don't need an easement because we are the easement.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing as in financials. If one department in Oregon City needs to give money to another department, there still has to be a journal entry done, some type of, that's kind of how I was understanding it in this case, was that even though it's legally owned by the city, the easement would still need to be in some way listed there, because also, doesn't that also give any access, I can't remember what the form says specifically, but doesn't that also give access to Soul Flakes to work on that property? I mean, doesn't that define some of that relationship there?
No, because the city would give her permission to be on the
They have a
mural.
right-of-way permit
Yeah, they have a right.
to
So
use the right-of-way and
it's-
the easement.
It's slightly
He'll
different.
clarify, Gary will clarify.
Okay.
I'll get it in writing, but as of yesterday,
It'd just be helpful, because if we were running this again, it would be nice to have something that we can point at and
Sure, of
say.
course, I understand
That's
that.
what legal said, and it's in writing, and we're good.
yeah.
And I haven't reviewed the easement form in a while, but isn't part of it that it's the last 5 years?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So one of the things that's really good about that is that you have a review at the end of 5 years. And then on a private building, they could say, I don't want any more, I want to cover it up, and that's good. Or I want to do this for another 5-year period. This means that this particular thing, if it doesn't have an easement agreement, is in perpetuity.
No. No, it doesn't.
Oh, good.
No, it doesn't. So therefore, it still follow, we have to follow, we still have to follow, this mural has to still follow the same situation like everybody else, except that this is, I mean, you have, everything is not perfect sort of in all situations. This is on a public, this is on the city's property. And so therefore, we will comply with the guidelines, except that we don't have to provide an easement to do it.
So what if this is on the easement form and not somewhere else?
Yeah, how do you engage with the Soul Flags again at some point on behalf of the city if there's no type of agreement or
There's no
anything in
form,
place
there's
with
no
you
agreement.
Well,
two?
there can be another different kind of agreement, doesn't have to be that one.
Oh, and that's, I think, part of what I'm worried about is that you guys are
I think,
opening up.
can I just say that we're going to be doing a workshop with the city about the code? And also, we're not approving anything for Soul Flags at this meeting. So would it be fine to move on from this point and save this discussion for when we do the workshop and when we approve things for Soul Flags?
I'm fine with that.
Is
I'm
that
just
cool?
trying to, when we come back to Soul Flags, it would be nice to have clarification from legal counsel. So we just want to make sure that.
Well, I'll get it for
action
you.
is
I
requested.
can get it for you, that's not a problem.
So, okay. Tima, thank you very much. I appreciate you staying on late to talk to us. And we hope that you are on a fast recovery.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and thank you for reviewing our application.
Well, they haven't
Thank you.
done it.
We haven't.
They haven't done it yet.
You haven't done it yet.
You know what I mean?
The sketch is lovely.
Thank you.
The next item is review of the proposed agenda that I wanted to bring up. So just for some clarification, and the mayor was very kind in noting it earlier, her and I will have a private conversation about what we want to talk about at the city commission work session. But I want to make sure I have everything that you all want me to bring forward to her to talk about at that session. So of course, the municipal code is a key item there that we want to put on there. Also, some of the strategic plan, the objectives and goals, we want to have defined out by that point to talk to them about and to get feedback on.
Did you say objectives?
Goals and objectives.
Okay.
I had also put on here other important art commission issues, but since then, one other item that came up with a conversation that James and I and Amy had this week, which was on the letter of intent for the Willamette corridor. So there's a letter of intent that's currently sitting out there that we approved back in April to go to the city commission. It hasn't gone anywhere at this point, so we're gonna pick it back up and take it to this meeting and talk through it to get just feedback on it. It's not requesting anything specific from the city commissioners, but they are able to, we want them to be aware of it, so we can then move forward with the discussions with that group that Amy and Joyce were leading.
That'll be 6 months by then.
So,
The letter topic. Can somebody just refresh my memory? What is
Yeah,
that?
what is
Letter of
this
intent.
there was a letter of intent that the Oregon City Arts Commission, the West,
Oh,
Can I
that
say
one,
this?
yes.
okay,
The cooperation between the three groups, okay.
Right, but it was initiated by Lake Oswego and West Lynn. They fully intend to implement art when and if construction begins on the Highway 43 project. And they very courteously reached down and asked us if we wanted to be a part of it. The letter of intent simply says, we had the intention of working together as these three groups. It has no specifics, it has no request, has no nothing. Both of them took their LOIs to their respective city councils/commissions and said, hi, just want to let you know we're doing that. And then it was our job to do that. And so we voted to do that in April, and it can't get through.
I don't see any issue with it. I think we have cooperative agreements with all sorts of other organizations, and there doesn't have to be a project list or anything. It's just saying, we're gonna work together. It's like what we have with Clackamas County. We have these agreements with Clackamas County, where we're gonna work together on the C4 transportation, and maybe, there's a project list, but that's not how it started. We created the commission, this group of city and county people to work on transportation issues, and they came up with a project list later.
Yeah.
So that's all this is, I think.
Well, we've got to bring it back up because we can't officially get through. And I
Yeah,
think one of the
well,
good things
we'll
that
put that on the agenda.
could come from this work session as well is how do we prevent something like this happening before? How do we as an advisory commission be able to say, here's our advice quote, and then get it to the city commission?
So what,
Sorry, through the process you're using right now, you go to a workshop and then it goes to the city commission. You're scheduled for October 7th,
October 7th? Okay.
work session.
So do we have to have a work session every time we
Sorry, I
have
was gonna
something we'd
ask
like
a
to get to the city commission?
Depending on not every time, but depending on the complexity of the issue, say it's something that you have to educate people on, a work session is probably the best forum.
But this was really easy. If we have another really easy, that we just want to get it in front of the commission.
Amy, sorry, I know this is an important conversation, but we only have about 13 minutes left, and we have the
Okay.
salmon bench to get to.
Okay.
11 and 10, we'll
You're
bring
right. Thank you.
bring up as a topic that we want to
we
talk to
haven't
them
had
at
a
the work
chance,
session.
I'm sorry, but we haven't had a chance to discuss this yet.
The letter of intent?
No, not just that, I mean,
It works.
we haven't had a chance to give input from the from the arts commissioners on what kind of a conversation we want to have.
No, I understand, that's what I'm
So-
going back to.
Yeah, I understand you're coming back to it.
So is there any other topics that people would like to bring forward to the
So
city
I
commission?
have, yeah, so what I'd like to say is that, this is the first time that we've actually met with the city commission in our 5 years of existence. So it would be good, first of all, if we established a good relationship with them. I mean, I feel like that's the most important thing that we can do. And part of that is going to involve us, first of all, asking them kind of what they want from us. I mean, I want to hear from the city commission themselves. What do they want from the arts commission? Because I've never actually had a chance to hear from anyone on the city commission except for the mayor on what they want out of the arts commission. So for me, that's an important priority.
Okay.
So you have, the whole group has not met with the city commission, but the arts commission has done two overviews. Like, here's what we've been doing. We usually have all the boards and commissions come once a year to say, hey, this is what we've been doing for the
Right.
year. We've done all these great things, and everybody's done great things.
Right, but what I want to hear, I
But
want
we
to hear
haven't
from,
had- We have not had a work session.
yeah,
with-
no, I understand. I want to hear from all of you
Yes, yeah.
assembled on what you want or what you would like, just so I have a chance to even know what I mean, it may be that there's 3 people on the city commission who have a very different idea of what the arts commission should be doing from what I think, and if they do, I'd like to hear it, because we're
I'm sure,
supposed to
I'm
advise
sure you'll
them.
hear it, particularly one of them. So, we won't name any names.
Okay, Josh,
Sorry,
sorry.
did you have something? Did anyone else have anything else they wanted added? I will add that topic, Emma.
Joyce?
Yeah,
Yeah, Joyce.
the art show. I understand there were some issues with the
6x6.
yeah, with that show. We apparently aren't going to be doing those again, and I'd like to know why.
Yeah, I can talk to James and Denise offline about how we want to address that. But yeah, there has been some feedback from staff about not doing that again or doing it in a different format. Basically hiring third party to do it. We can approach that topic offline as well.
Why would we approach it offline? Why would we have separate discussions? That seems like that should be an all arts commission discussion.
I think I agree with you that we should get clarification. What I'd like to get is clarification back from city staff who have recommended we don't do that again, on the reasons, and then bring that back to the Arts Commission for discussion.
Okay.
I'd like to know as well.
Yeah.
That's why I went to it and volunteered for it, because I thought it was great.
Do we have time to do that before the work session?
Yeah, because the work session's not till October 7th, so we'll have another
September?
Yeah.
commission meeting
Okay.
before then.
It's the second Tuesday of the month, and so you guys you'll meet one more time before that.
Good.
Because once we approve the agenda, one of the topics that I had on the list was or last minute topics on the list was to propose that we do have a special meeting to kind of pull ourselves around the municipal codes and get that done and get whatever edits we want finished and finalized before we bring them to the city commission done. So I was gonna propose having a work session for just the Arts Commission in early September, to try and get those done and then also get moving on our strategy document, because we're not gonna have a lot of time at the next meeting as well to get all of that wrapped up before we meet with the city commission. I'd like to be prepared when we go in, that we have everything locked down for them.
We already have a full agenda for September's meeting.
We do?
We're
No, I'm
getting
asking.
there, but if you remember, we went over two topics, took us about 20 minutes tonight on the municipal code. We still have the bylaws and the municipal code that Daria worked on, which is about twice as long in terms of edits.
On the agenda for September?
Yeah, we had it on this agenda for last meeting, and we only got through about 1-2 paragraphs of about, I think it's like 5 or 6 pages now. So it seems like there's gonna be a lot of time, and we just need to focus on it. And there's other things that always pop up when we meet at these meetings that we have to address. So I was thinking it would be best to have a work session to get through all that.
True, we could
long as there's
also, yeah, ooh, pizza, there we go, that's important. But we could also, and I'm sure Daria would not, I don't know, like, I don't want anyone to feel like they're being pushed down the road, because she has been working on this so long. However, if we have a meeting coming up on October 7th, could we not use our September meeting to strategize for that and come up with our strategic plan and prepare for that? And then at our October meeting, go through other things that would be on the agenda?
I think we're not gonna have enough time in one meeting to do it, 1 hour-and-a-half meeting,
Fair enough.
to get it all done and wrapped up, because there's gonna be lots of discussion. I
Okay.
don't wanna stifle discussion on any of these points either, and feel like we're going in with something that not everyone's really behind. Right, that's my biggest thing, is I don't want us to look like we have mixed messaging in front of the city commission when we present these things.
Okay, I get it. Cool.
Perfect. I agree, yeah.
I agree, concur. So when are you proposing a special?
So
work group?
there's the week after, I didn't want to do it the same week as Labor Day, because I know people do vacations or back to school, and I wanted to avoid all of that for anyone who has to deal with that. So I was looking at the week of September 8th for a possible meeting, 6 to 8 at night somewhere. If you have a preference on night or day of week,
This has to be televised?
it would be recorded. It doesn't necessarily have to go live, but it would be recorded.
Okay.
Is there any day that week that works best for people?
I'm always good on a Tuesday or Thursday night, personally. The rest of the night, I do bedtime.
The 9th is our regular work session night, I believe.
Well,
Okay.
this would just be,
But if Denise wanted to, or
Yeah.
Mayor wanted to attend in person,
Well, I'm thinking about staff as well. They may get,
Well-
I don't know what's on the September 9th
yeah.
meeting yet, so they might get pulled into something. So you might tentatively do it and then see whether they have to be there. I don't know.
so, well,
I'm
it's a
good the
bad
rest
date.
of the week.
September 11th, Thursday, 6 to 8. Rebecca and Myra, any thoughts from you? Would that work?
I can't remember exactly when Daria is going to be back, but we probably want to make sure she's there, right?
I think she comes back at the end of August.
yeah.
I think it's,
Okay.
I don't think she's there, if she's in there in September, it's only for a few days. So she should be back, and we'll make sure we reach out to her as well.
And that would be at 7 o'clock.
Vacation pictures.
Sorry, so,
That would be at 7 o'clock, right?
I was proposing 6 to 8, but we can, if that's too early in the day or too late, we can adjust.
It's up to you.
6 to 8,
I like 6 to 8. My brain stops working after 8-ish.
okay.
Good to me.
Joyce, that works for you?
That's fine.
Emma, that's good? Okay, so Ann will put a special meeting on then for that date.
September 11th.
Yeah,
And I'll confirm that we can have it here, because I think, I can't remember if Praque is here,
if not here, then we can look at maybe the,
Yes. I think that date is fine, but I think this
We
room
have
is
other
busy.
meeting rooms in this
Willamette
building.
Falls, yeah.
So,
Well, apparently the other building has all the stuff. I'd like to go
The,
there.
the Willamette, they have all the lighting, I'll tell you that.
All the lighting,
You get a tan under those
computers,
lights.
It's a little, it's a little much.
we have another larger conference room with
Okay.
a big screen TV, and
Moving right
we do Zoom meetings in there.
Okay.
Okay,
And then I'll be a little bit late,
okay,
cause I'll get off work at 6 exactly, and then it'll take me some time to shimmy on over.
okay.
That I wanna see.
Then next on the agenda is website update, so I'll pass it over to Rebecca.
Okay, hi, I'm juggling animals, so I'm just gonna be on.
I think
That
that's
sounds
illegal.
impressive.
That I wanna see too.
Oh, man.
Oh my gosh. So where we're at with the website, as Josh said earlier in the meeting, and I'll be really brief, is content's on hold for a moment because we need to clarify what it is that we can and cannot do and who we are. And then we also need to decide on the photographs. If Jared can do it, awesome. You know, there isn't a wide range of photographs, and Oregon City has a very nice public art collection, and we need to decide which pieces need to be, you know, photographed or acquired a photo of, if there's one around. One of the nice things, what I heard about working with, is it Mike
Jared.
Dubai?
Mike, yeah.
I can't
Mike DeBow.
yeah, is that if he can help us all be able to get into OneDrive, then we can have one place to store all the photos. So I'm still writing and doing things because as soon as these things are clarified, I can tweak and get stuff done and just upload it. So that's where we're at with the website.
Any questions for Rebecca?
Thank you.
She wins the award
Yeah.
for succinctness.
Yep, she's been doing a lot of work, not just on the content. I know she's also been working on updating our inventory list with all sorts of information that she is pulling from all different sources right now, just so we have it all in one area, and that is just mind-boggling ton of work. So I really appreciate it, Rebecca, in driving that one for as long as you have.
Does that include the stuff in storage?
Everything that has been in the art assessment, right?
Yeah, and then ultimately, anything else, I just feel like if we are truly an advisory board to the city and we are part of the city, there needs to be an inventory in one place. And if that can live on the OneDrive, that would be perfect. That gets updated, but I added some other fields to Kathy's work that would include things of the funding, where the funding came from, if it was a renovation. So, you know, who did the renovation and how much did that cost us, so that we have a database basically of all of the art that we are sort of, you know, in charge of.
Nice.
Great.
I thought the Public Works had done, before John Lewis left, I thought they had done an inventory because a lot of them are on the streets and so
Yeah.
that's part of their.
They have a good majority of it, but they
Yeah.
don't have it all, which,
No, I figured they didn't have it all, but I knew he had started that.
yeah, and I think,
Yes, he did, and so Kathy Rowe worked from that, and then I was given access to that. So I've been building on that.
Perfect.
yeah. No. Rebecca started without building off of that, and then decided, no, I'm gonna go build off of that, because that seems a little bit easier.
It's easier.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We're at just after 8:30. I want to be sensitive to people's times. There was one other topic that had come up that I do want to talk about. So we were notified, I'm not sure if
Is this where we're gonna vote on the?
the plaque, yeah. So, as you all recall, we had the restoration grants go out. We approved a restoration grant for the Salmon bench, and that work was completed in July. I don't know how long ago, but more recently than not, we received notice that there were some issues with the bench, some sharp edges and stuff. So I understand that one piece was already filed down. I know you, Anna talked to Becky about going back and doing some additional, maybe cleanup or try to repair it so that it was functional as a bench as well, because being a piece of public art, people are going to climb on it. Amy went down there and looked at it to do a further assessment, and there were several issues with it that she noted, which brought up questions of the quality of work. And so there's a couple things that come off of this conversation, and I don't want to take too much time tonight to talk about it, but I think we need to tee it up for a future meeting to talk about it. But first issue is, how do we make sure that the bench itself now, the Salmon bench itself, is cleaned up to the point that it is still functioning piece of art that is decent quality. I do have some images that Amy shared that I can share so everyone can kind of get an idea. The second one, which is the bigger question, is our quality assurance process to make sure that when we do public art, it is done in such a fashion that
It's probably gonna take more time than we have.
yeah, so I just wanted to share some of the photos though. Amy, if you wanted to talk through any of these things real quick, and then we'll.
Sure. So this first one that you can see, the elevations of the marbles are all over the place. And if you look in the back top right, there's actually an undercut and several indentations where water is going to collect. Same thing with, if you look at the far left light blue marble, that's positioned appropriately. If you look at two more over to the right, the clear one, it's way under. That's just going to gather water and eventually pop. And that goes for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 6, but where it's really bad is where that back edge is.
I have more pictures on another slide.
Okay, so this one, number 2, this is also showing some low points where water had gathered and then a really sharp edge on the little kind of triangular piece. That edge, if you look at the bottom, is it a quadrilateral? Oh, Mrs. Epstein is gonna be so happy for me.
See, it all comes back, doesn't it?
You see there's a sharp edge? That piece had popped off.
Quite a few, yeah.
What-
I looked at it
which one?
Sunday, yeah, there's quite a few sharp
Well, that
edges.
blue piece.
Well, no, I meant, so the blue is bad. What I'm
That blue
talking
piece,
about.
you could cut yourself on that.
Well, I actually took care of yours. The wet piece.
It looks like there's pieces that have already
Do you have your
popped out of
cursor?
there.
Do I have a cursor?
Yeah, does it work?
Yeah, I curse, but I don't have a cursor.
So can you see that? Can you
Yeah.
see my cursor?
There you go. So go down the big piece that's wet to the right. There, oh, not that right. Middle,
Oh, you're, okay.
I'm
well, I
talking
gotta
about
go
the wet spot.
It just
there.
all looks shiny.
There it is. Ooh, there you go. Okay, that is a wet spot. So again, we had that one day of little rain. Wasn't a lot. It was a little bit of rain. So you can see that what happens is that it's going to accumulate and then it's going to work on the grout. So that back edge that looks like it's taller is taller because while I was there, that piece popped out.
Okay.
That
okay.
grout popped.
That blue piece?
No, the wet spot had grout
Oh, and it popped, oh, okay.
and it popped
I see.
out.
There's a-
It is ready to
There
pop
is
some more.
quite a few.
So the grout came out.
Sunday,
The grout
there's quite a
has
few
come out, the
pieces
grout
like
has not
that.
been
Yeah.
done properly. So next slides, please. Okay, number 3, if you can look there at the lower edge, not only has the grout, I don't have a word for this, smudged over the tile, very inappropriately. That's coming right off. But it's also, it's almost like it's got thumbprints in it. Again, that's gonna collect
where the
water.
dark spot is.
Is it getting hot? Like, because isn't it supposed to be like a special, like,
Yes, it was supposed to be special.
water? Like, is it?
It's not. This was after, well, it was a while after a rain, but it's not. When I was there, it was not
Thursday, we had a
happening.
little bit of rain.
It was our 80 degrees days. You'll also notice bubbles, and for those of you
Yeah.
who've done anything like this, you have to get the air bubbles out, because if you see them here, they're all on the inside. Those are also going to accumulate water. Freeze-thaw cycle is going to pop this. Number 4, there's a very large, what to me, it's substantial undercut. Same thing. Now that's going to be mossy and wet in no time. And then number 5 is it might have been another one, but anyway, you see where all of those indentations are. And there's, to me, I was a little agog.
Pretty sloppy.
If I might say, when I mentioned that this person did not have a ceramic background,
Yeah.
this would be evidence of somebody without a ceramics background. But this cannot stand, because all of this is going to erode. Or
Yeah,
pop.
It looks sloppy.
And then, so not the least of which, these are just the weather issues, the endurance issues. These tiles are not flat. They're super
Really-
wobbly.
Yeah.
Some of the
really
edges,
wavy,
when they've
yeah.
been cut, again, if you've done ceramics and you cut the sides, you smooth the edges. They were not.
There
So
are a
they're,
lot of divots.
I mean,
No, I have a
don't know
question.
if
I'm sorry. So do you know the difference between the ones she replaced and the ones that she kept?
my understanding is that she replaced the entire top.
The tile,
Did
All
she-
the ones, all the ones on the top are ones that she
Oh,
the whole
created.
top.
Okay.
I mean,
cool.
so I
Good to know.
agree with you about the sharp edges. Now, the unevenness of it is, that's kind of more of an aesthetic thing. It doesn't have to be flat, even if people are gonna sit on it. It can be
Yeah.
wobbly and
It's
uneven.
durability.
Eh.
No,
It's-
not eh.
No, it isn't, because that's an aesthetics choice. That's-
No, so
The grout,
water
yes,
is our
things-
enemy.
I know,
but the tile itself cannot have to be perfectly flat tile, but it shouldn't be sharp. Is that what you're saying, Emma?
I'm just
The
saying,
tile
no, I
itself.
mean, I agree about the sharp edges. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I do want to let people know, and I appreciate that I know we're going to keep talking about it, but, we got a call about one of the sharp edges. I called Becky, she went the next day. I mean, or a couple days later, she went right away.
To do what?
She took a file and smoothed down one of the edges.
So
She
More than one
acknowledged,
edge.
what's that?
There was more than, I ran my hand, when I went over to look at it, I ran my hand over all of the tiles to see, I said, okay, if somebody's gonna sit on this, is their pants gonna get stuck on it? I ran my hand over, I could have cut my hand.
yeah.
And there's not a picture of it on here, but also where she put the metal beam around it, grout covered it.
Yeah.
So I know it's late, I don't want to keep people much longer. I guess what we need to get to here is we need to come back to this and decide, is this salvageable? Are we able to maybe do something to alleviate these issues that Amy has pointed out, that have come up to us from other people? I mean, it wasn't just us noticing this, it was the public. So, what are our options here to fix this? And then also, the bigger question, longer term question is, how do we put a framework in that ensures quality of work? Because right now, when I talk to Ann, the agreements that we sign with the artist, there's nothing in there that talks about, review of the work before it is paid for and things, and we should make sure that there is a quality established before we start issuing money out. And that there is something in there that stipulates that the artist should have to make sure that the final product is of good quality.
So you paid for this without doing the final inspection, just like you do with a building permit, and so we paid, I say we,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I thought that was just part of the deal.
That we did a quality inspection?
No, that it gets reviewed before, I mean, you always hold back some of the money before you sign off on it in any project. I'm just
Yeah.
talking about anything, not just art, but you know, you ask somebody to write your report, you review it, and then you hold some back and then you pay it out.
So I guess
when you-
that's how we do it.
That's not how we did it, because we paid her.
No, I'm saying that's how we'll do it in the future.
Yeah, so in
Yeah,
the
so-
future, yes.
Yeah, so, Rebecca had put together a really massive spreadsheet and presentation on this that we reviewed months and months ago. I'm not quite sure when, but it included a lot of these things that we were missing in our process. So at some point, we want to come back to that and look at it. We need to also talk to, you know, I think some of the other departments in city to make sure that they are involved in it. So I'm thinking if we do a statute, Public Works needs to be aware of that statute going in, needs to be able to check it, make sure it's secure, and give us their sign off before we, or if it has sharp edges on it, like, are these properly protected? When we got to the end of this one of the things that came up was the little things, the blocks that prevent skateboarders on the bench. So just make sure that those things are all figured out prior to final sign off and final payment.
So at this point, can we have Public Works
You
come
did
in
that
and
with
take,
the sculpture.
can we have
one
Public
on the
Works come
corner,
in and
that
take a look at it
got signed
now?
off on by Public
And
Works before it.
Give us their recommendation on what needs to happen to it?
Yeah,
I just, yeah.
Definitely, we're concerned about liability.
Yeah, and I think these are all good points. I would like to point out that one, this was supposed to be a restoration. And this person had not done a restoration before. And two, we were under the gun to get this done. And I think those two things were more than anything what led to probably a hasty decision that Amy was not a fan of. Word to you, Amy. And we were like, well, this is either we spend this money doing this or this money goes away. So
Or we say we can't do it yet and work your magic and roll it over for us.
we didn't know that was an option until after, but yeah, I get your
We
point.
were told repeatedly, use it or lose it.
That's what.
So, we were, just to let you know, Amy, if there's magic to work, we were told there was no magic, just to let you know. So I think that those two, I would just want us to consider that those two things, putting pressure on us.
And don't, the rollover is separate from the public restoration
Yeah.
funds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
The public restoration funds, you're right, we were under the gun to make the decision and we chose to invest in a project.
Yep.
So I think.
All I can say is that I sure hope a bridge project does not come before us.
So could we
I'm serious because you don't do this. You just,
could we like decide either now or at the next meeting?
Well, I
how to
also
deal with the
think that
problem now
there's,
that it
we can
exists?
figure out remedies to address the
Yeah.
concerns that you have raised. I don't think we made a bad decision. I think you said it very well, Choir, that we should feel good about the 3 restoration projects that we were able to accomplish in a short amount of time. And if there are things that we need to address, we will figure out how to address them.
am I on camera?
Yes, you are.
Please make a note that Amy Wilson is shaking her head.
So in terms of next steps, to your point, I think, let's ask Ann to ask Public Works to take a look at it and see what their suggestions are. It might be worth seeing if we can find someone else who has a similar background and has done other projects like this to even have a look at and give us their opinion. If
How about the original artist?
we can try to reach out to the
we
original
tried.
artist. We talked to them. and
She exists. She can go look at it.
Her suggested fixes originally were different than what Becky put together. It was basically gluing down new tile on top of it, not doing any new groundwork, but just gluing on. So we can look at those and see about getting some of their opinions on it as well to see what options we have.
Okay.
And then we'll bring it back to the group. So part of the reason I wanted to hold off on the plaque decision
Right, I
tonight was
understand.
just wait till we have this figured out
Yeah, that's
first and then we work on the plaque. Any objections or concerns with that?
No, that's a good idea.
Rebecca, your hand is raised.
Yes, my hand is raised. The other thing that I want us to remember moving forward is when we are looking at a piece of work and we're asking for a restoration, just like with a mural, when someone would come in and restore the mural so that it's cohesive and it looks like the original mural, this does not. And so I think it's really important, again, like what Josh is saying, that we come up with our policies and procedures for how we're going to vet somebody and make sure that they actually are able to match the thing that they're restoring.
Yeah.
And I understand there was some confusion originally because she thought she was doing a redesign. And so sometimes that affects artists. Sometimes
Yeah.
they get, you know, it throws them for a loop. I don't know if that's what happened, but in any case, the top of this, because my mom and I went and got it last week, the top of it does not match the sides.
Yeah.
And the new bubbles are basically look like the grout is sort of mounded and blobbed on, and then the little dragon tear is pushed into the grout. And it just doesn't look cohesive. So that's just something I would like to request, that when we are looking for someone to restore something, that we really ensure that they can make it look like as close to the original as possible, if we're truly doing a restoration.
Correct.
So,
Well, I
I'd like
think,
to say something too.
yeah, I think that when we are choosing someone to do a restoration, they should have experience with restoration.
Agreed.
And
Yeah, and that's what Amy said, and
Yeah.
we didn't go with
yeah,
that.
no joke, yeah. And we didn't go with it because we were told use it or lose it, and we're like, I guess we got to do it.
So
Well, we
So-
could've
Yeah,
lost
I'd like
it.
to say-
I would have rather lost it.
I'd like to say.
I have one more comment about that. That has sort of become the norm, that we like have to rush and scramble to get because of an artist's timing or because of whatever. And I would like us to have a little bit more control over that, so that we don't make mistakes like this and
I
we don't
agree.
choose them.
I agree.
Hold on, Emma's next.
Yeah, I mean, I go for a walk like once a day in Oregon City. I've walked by that bench like at least 10 or 15 times since it's been installed. And I mean, if you're just a person walking by it, it doesn't really look that, I mean, it's a nice bench. It looks pretty. It looks like it's new. I mean, these are really good points. I'm just saying, I think that for your average Oregon City resident, they're not really good. I mean, it doesn't look that bad.
You're not looking at it under a microscope, is what you're
Well,
saying.
Yeah.
I don't think it looks that much different from what it originally looked like, but it looks refreshed.
Yeah, it just looks
Like,
refreshed.
it wasn't, yeah,
I mean, it's blue.
Going to need repairs.
it is. No, yeah, I completely agree with that.
Ongoing,
Yeah, no, those are
that
good
we
points.
probably can't afford.
And Rebecca, to your point of like, this is the norm, this wasn't the norm. This was the norm in this instance where we had this amount of money and we thought our budget was different, and then we were told very differently when we were trying to go forward that, oh, actually, that's not your budget. And so that's not the norm. It was the norm with this money that we were trying to use, yes, but previously, this wasn't the norm. This is not how we did our grants. This is not how we did several other projects.
That's
Like,
correct. Thank-
I just want to clarify that. Like, I don't want you to feel like, oh, this is how we've been functioning. It's not. It was with this particular part of the budget.
Thank you, Choir.
Rebecca?
Yes and no. I feel like it has been starting to happen, and maybe it simply is because of that June 30th deadline that was hanging over us. What I was saying, Choir, is that I don't want it to become the norm.
Yeah.
Like where things are starting to be rushed through or pushed through, or could you just do this because the artist is only available now? That puts a lot of pressure on us to all of a sudden make a decision when we actually aren't in a position to make a really good decision.
I agree.
And that's,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, if there's no other comments, I would suggest we adjourn this meeting and meet again on September 11th. Myra, you got a hand up?
Just really quickly, so Ann and I were going to be teaming up to organize a celebration of the Salmon bench and the other mural. So should we kind of pause that until we have
Yes.
like this figured out and the plaque thing figured out?
Yes.
For the Salmon bench, if you still wanted to move forward with something for the mural in DC Lotterat Park, I would be open to that. Because I think that's a good piece of work that we did there.
I think that makes sense, and we talked about combining the bench with DC Latret Park. I think it does make sense to just focus on the park. We are working with the team in the Parks Department that are gonna supply refreshments. I'm just waiting on the confirmation of the date, but it looks like it'll be the last Saturday in September. And just, 2 hours, something, just refreshments and some information.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Myra. I think, are you okay with just moving forward with just the focusing on the park?
Yeah.
Are you letting Parks manage that?
They are collaborating with it.
Because it's their facility.
It's me and Tom.
Yeah, okay, you and Tom, yeah. So, in cooperation with the Arts Commission, so I don't know if you need to have a committee to do that, they're already doing it.
Yeah.
If Taylor's involved, he's got that tile down.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Thank you for letting us get through all the agenda items. I know it was a full agenda. We will consider this meeting adjourned at 8:51 PM. Thank you, everyone, for joining online, and we will talk again later.